Last week, after 5 years, I finally hit a PR on my snatch. It was a 5-pound PR. I hit 285, and this was a huge win for me. It's been a weight that I've been battling with for a long time. So this is the session. These are the lifts that I took in order to reach that new PR, and a little bit of background about what I'm doing, why I'm taking the jumps that I am, and my thought process around it. So let's go ahead and get started. I usually start after like empty bar warm up and everything. I usually start with 115. I like putting yellows on the bar because it's not a weight that will shock me, but it's also not too light to where I feel like I could just like throw it behind my head or loop it. So I'm using 115 here, just feeling some positions. So I'm feeling my position off the floor, at top of the knee, and in the hip. And I'm really trying to just feel for my balance in my foot and use my legs. So I'm trying to like load my quads, feel my quads, go back to top of the knee, make sure my chest is over the bar while maintaining balance the whole time. So I did a couple of kind of deadlifts into the hip just to feel where my balance was across my foot. And then I started taking reps. So first rep is going to be here at 115. And I miss it, just a little bit loose overhead. Same thing here, a little bit loose, not really knowing where the catch is. I tried to like really grab this one, didn't set quite as well. Missed it again. And like, if you're missing a bunch of weights early on, like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not gonna be able to perform later as you get heavier. A lot of people get in their head early with the lighter or moderate weights. If they miss one, they start to get freaked out about it. So first jump from 115 to 165. I do take some pretty aggressive jumps throughout this. And I think that there is definitely value to building confidence in taking bigger jumps. So this next jump is to 195. My previous max before this was 280. And like a confident weight for me is like 245 to 255, kind of in that range. If I'm hitting 265 plus, we're having a great day. 225 was my next jump. A little wobbly in the catch. And really like, I have really tried to work on my catch. My pull is very strong. I tend to kind of jump back a little bit as it gets heavier, which you will probably see in 65, I believe. But 20-pound jump to 45, that one was nice. When I'm doing these pulls, I'm really just focused on my legs and pushing flat through the ground. Once I feel the bar in the hip, if I'm in the right position, the speed under happens as a byproduct of that. You notice a little bit back. I just tend to kind of like shift the weight back into my heels a little bit as I go past the knee. And then through on 285, I just kept adding weights. This isn't the normal way that I build up the bar, and I was kind of running out of time. And so I just started throwing stuff on. I wasn't quite sure if this was 275 or 285, which I think definitely helped. It definitely helped me not like treat it like it was more than it is in my head, which is typically what happens. And I tried to really just approach it the same way I approached all the other ones, not like get extra psyched up or anything, and it worked. So I think that a lot of the issues that people have when they go for new PRs is they get a little bit too excited and they start to change things, especially in that first pull when you're breaking the weight off the floor. It needs to be precise. And a lot of times if people get like, you'll see people like stomp their feet and try to get like really aggressive with the weight as it goes up. And sometimes that can help, but a lot of times I found it's misplaced aggression. And if you're aggressive right off the floor, it tends to just kind of like mess with the first pull, and then it's so much harder to recorrect after that. So with the heavier weights and as you're approaching PR lifts, I always recommend like just try to give it a little more oomph, do more of what was already working. Don't change stuff. And in that 285, like it definitely did pull me forward a little bit. Let's see, we can go back. Right in like the thigh position, I felt like it dragged me forward a little bit. And you know, when you're hitting the lift like this, right there, like I'm a little bit too much in the arms, I'm a little bit too far over the bar, at least in comparison to the other lifts. And, you know, sometimes that's just part of it. If you start to freak out and feel that, you don't just kind of like ride the lift for what it is. And especially with the heavy snatches, it needs to be instinct right from the beginning. This lift happens so fast that it's really hard to like correct things in time at this kind of weight, at max weights. You just kind of have to know it right off the ground. It's like, I liken it to like shooting a basketball, right? You know, when Steph Curry shoots the ball and he can turn around and knows that it's going to go in, it's like that intuition, that muscle memory. And that's really what we're after when you're training, is you're trying to develop that muscle memory that will carry over to the heavy lifts. So when you get to the heavy lifts, if you start to like overthink it too much, like I have for the past 5 years, it usually just doesn't work out. So those are a couple tips. Really surprised I hit this lift, but things have been feeling good. I've been really working on my mobility and my catch position. It just kind of worked today. So don't give up if you're not hitting lifts. If you need help with your lifting, check out Technique Team. I will leave a link in the description where you can learn more about my coaching community. YouTube will recommend another video that you should watch from me next. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.